Next week's trivia question, where was Bronco Nagurski born? Look it up. Ontario.
Here we go.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you, and hello, everybody. It's my pleasure today to introduce my friend Sam Bourquin, or Sammy B, as we all call him. And I know Doug Miller, his coach at Central Catholic, calls him the big right-hander. And there's good reason for that, because anytime he needed a win, he would hand the baseball off to Sam Bourquin, and he would roll off another win for him. In fact, he's in the OHSAA record books. 16 straight wins in his career at Central Catholic. And Doug, you got a good one. It's my pleasure, like I said, to introduce Sam, because we've been friends for a long time since, I think I first met Sam in 1993 when we both went to WHBC. Sam started his career at WTIG over in Aspen. And then he came over to HBC, and I remember talking to our sports director back then and the voice of Stark County, Jim Johnson, and I said, hey, I'd love to come and work at WHBC someday. And he goes, well, I hired a guy named Sam Bourquin. He goes, if it doesn't work out, I'll let you know. That's how Jim used to say things, but it actually worked out for both of us, because Jim then went to the TV side, and that's how much he really appreciated what Sam could do. And he went to the TV side of things, and then Sam took over more of the radio broadcasts of those games over the years. So when we worked together, I was talking a little bit ago, I said we probably worked the most together than anybody I've ever worked with as far as a broadcast partner. And it's been, 20-some years, I think we worked together. And but I still admire his work, and I hope someday I'll be up here trying to promote him into the Ohio Broadcasters Hall of Fame, because that's where he belongs. Wanted to just give you just a little bit of history. He was at WHBC for many years, left there, went to iHeartRadio, and then over to WDPN, WDJQ. We worked together over there for a couple of years on some broadcasts as well. He's currently has a radio show on WDPN 1310, and also does Mount Union football and basketball, and also does high school basketball on Q92 with Lee Foster. So enough about the introduction. Let's bring him up here so you guys get a chance to hear from him. Please welcome, give him a Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club welcome, Sam Bourquin.
Thank you, Frank. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for coming today. I was talking to the future mayor of the city of Canton, R.J. Van Almen, last night. And I said, I hope the cold doesn't keep everybody away. And nothing for like 15 minutes. I put the phone back down. I was watching the football game. Yeah, me too. Okay. So then my next line was, well, if it's really bad tomorrow, it's going to look like an Indians crowd in the 1970s Municipal Stadium. We both had a big laugh about that. But I tell you what, it was a little tough sledding, I know, for all of you to come out today. So I appreciate everybody coming and showing up and getting out in the cold and the snow and the ice and the wind and everything. It's good to see a lot of you here today. I want to thank RJ for reaching out, and the Hall of Fame committee for having me back again this year. RJ reached out to me, I think it was in the late fall, and he says, we got everybody through the end of the year. When can you come, January, February, March, something like that. I said, just give me 5 minutes and I'll figure out a couple of dates. So the first thing I thought of was January the 4th, the Amos Alonzo Stag Bowl is going to be in Canton. Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. I think Mount Union's got a really good chance to get there, play for a national championship. I said, let's do January the 5th. I'll come in the day, I texted, I'll come in the day after they win the championship. It'll be a big party, we'll have fun, we'll be Mount Union everywhere, we'll throw off confetti, we'll do fireworks, we'll do it all. Well, didn't quite work out that way, but ended up having to go a couple of weeks later anyhow. So it all did work out. So I appreciate RJ being patient there. And maybe we'll get the Raiders into the Stag Bowl again next year. But it's always fun to come back and speak to the club. Remember the first time I came to the club as a worker when the aforementioned, the man who did it better than anybody, Jim Johnson, sent me over here for my first time ever. So he says, just go cover the club. And I would sit right over there where Jake is from Q92. Jake does a great job for us at the radio station. And I sat over there and I had a little mini cassette recorder. I probably had a little tablet, kind of like this, took some notes. And I was kind of nervous because back then we had to kind of make our own arrangements to interview the speaker afterwards. And sometimes the speakers were in a hurry. They had another place to go. They had somewhere to get. They didn't really have time. And I thought, oh, because I was like 22, 23 years old, I was a nervous wreck sitting over there like, just keep talking, keep talking, keep talking. And I forget who the speaker was. And couldn't have been nicer. Gave me about 10, 15 minutes here at the table. And that kind of calmed my nerves a little bit. And then ever since I came back every Monday, I was like, JJ, I think we're good to go. I'm good to go. We're going to come back every Monday. We'll get these interviews. We'll go back to the station. We'll slice them up, put them on the sportscast. You can use them in the morning. So we're good to go. And then circle back all these years later as covering the Luncheon Club. And then I'll never forget, probably the most nervous I have ever been in my life was to come speak here for the very first time. And I mean, I had clammy hands. I had a little bit of hair back then, and I was a nervous wreck. And I looked out, and it was the day where this place was pretty full. The weather was great. I remember that day, and I was just, I said, how long do I have to talk? He says, well, we start the luncheon about noon. We do a couple announcements. We do a 50-50, so you'll probably get up there about 12:10. I said, is there any way you could delay that a little bit? Because you have some other people come up, maybe, talk 10, 15 minutes, and I'll go up about 12:30. He said, no, you're up about 12:15. You got to go to 1. I said, 1? I said, is there any way that you guys do like a Q&A? Oh, yeah, you're fine. You'll talk to about 12:35, 12:40, you're good to go. And I was up here trembling the entire time. Made it through, and thank goodness they invited me to come back several years later, and I certainly do relish the opportunity because I know a lot of speakers that come up here, what a thrill it is. For a kid who grew up in Canton, Ohio, and spent most of my childhood within a stone's throw of the Hall of Fame. We lived on Lakeside Avenue off of Broad, and went to Hall of Fame games. We went to induction ceremonies on the steps. We went to the Hall of Fame parade. We went to the burn-offs. We stayed in Winnebago's on Fulton Road when all that crazy stuff was going on back in the day. And then we moved over to Cleveland Avenue. Then that got too crazy. Then they finally shut it down. But to be up here to speak to the group, the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club, which is, to my knowledge, still the longest running in the country. And the fact that so many of you came out on a terrible weather day like today, to hear people speak and to share lunch with each other. And I know a lot of you get here early in the morning and bring donuts in, you play a little pinochle, you play a little solitaire, whatever you got going on here in the morning. You can't beat it. Maybe someday I'll be joining you here. Maybe just don't come too early in the morning. I'll probably sleep in when I get a little older. But this is a great group. I absolutely love being here. Also want to congratulate, we had a great class to go into the Stark County Baseball Hall of Fame. The North Canton Eagles on Saturday night. I want to shout those guys out. That was a great class and a great time. NFL football yesterday. Show of hands, how many watched the playoff games yesterday? Full house. Okay. So we're all set. NFC Championship, Rams and the Seahawks. AFC, we got the Patriots and the Denver Broncos. Before it started, I said, I got a really good feeling it's going to be the Rams and the Buffalo Bills. So I still got one team going. I really thought this was the year that Buffalo had the clearest path to get through. No Lamar Jackson in the way, no Pat Mahomes in the way. They're coming out of the wild card. I think they're probably going to be a little bit underlooked, if that makes any sense. and you've got a great quarterback, Josh Allen, and it's over. And not only was the season over, they fired your coach about 2 hours ago. So Sean McDermott is out. That's how cruel the NFL can be. You're going to AFC championship games, you're winning games. They're actually closing down the stadium that they're at now. They're going to go into a new one next year. I thought this would be the perfect storybook. Allen gets to the Super Bowl. Now, I didn't know if they'd win it, but I had them going. They closed the stadium out. This is going to be storybook. And they just didn't make the plays when they had to. It was I felt bad for Josh. I don't know if you watched any of the post game. I mean, he was literally sobbing. Here's a grown man, a football player, a tough guy from Wyoming, and comes to the NFL and he just wins games and his teammates love him. And he was just bawling his eyes out at the podium. They had to console him afterwards in the locker room. Guys had to put their arms around him, sit down with him, talk him through some stuff. I felt kind of bad for him. I really did. So on the other side of the coin, the Patriots, pretty incredible. This is how and why it is so important. Cleveland, get yourself a head coach. Half funny, half not. Okay? This is why you need to go get yourself a coach. Mike Vrabel, the pride of Walsh Jesuit, Ohio State. Didn't we have him on staff last year? Oh, that's right, we did. We did, and we let him walk out the door. He goes to New England. He takes bits and pieces, I think, of the Patriot way they used to play there when Bill Belichick was there and Tom Brady and all the great Patriot greats, the Patriot way. And he got to these guys, and they immediately embraced everything that he was about. He believes in these guys. He coaches like he played. I'm sure you see the shots of him on the sidelines. He's ready to go out and play. He is a tough son of a gun, and he knows how to coach. He knows how to get people fired up and excited, and here they are. They're going to have a chance to go all the way. And as the Patriot luck would have it, the Denver Broncos are going to be playing with a second-string quarterback. I didn't know if you saw, but their starting quarterback broke his ankle yesterday. He's done. And now a quarterback by the name of Jarrett Stidham. Yep. He's going to be the starting quarterback in the AFC Championship game. So, don't know what that means, but I would say that the path is pretty clear for the New England Patriots to get there. But I think it'll be a really nice day of football. Championship weekend, championship Sunday is always pretty cool. AFC, NFC, 3 o'clock, 6:30, primetime window. I don't know about you all yesterday, but I thoroughly loved the winter feel of the game and being played outside on natural grass. The snow was coming down. Didn't keep anybody away, did it? Anybody see any empty seats in those stadiums yesterday? No. Full, packed, standing room only. Indoor football. Get out of here with that. So that was great. I loved that yesterday. Yeah, can you tell I'm thrilled that the Browns are going to be playing indoors in 2029? No, I'm not. I'll deal with it. Let's kind of segue to the Browns, 5-12. And we'll do another show of hands. Do you think it was fair that Kevin Stefanski was fired? Show of hands. Ooh, wow. 4 or 5. I'm with you. I think he got a raw deal. When you're a 2-time coach of the year, you don't just hit the alarm clock one day and wake up and go, I think I forgot how to coach football today. It just doesn't happen. Very happy Kevin landed with the Atlanta Falcons, will be the new head coach taking over, moving forward. I thought he got a raw deal. I thought that the way things were let to play out by the upper management and ownership, I thought Kevin was kind of coaching with 2 hands tied behind his back pretty much the whole season. Now, did he make some mistakes? Sure he did. We all make mistakes. The 2-time NFL Coach of the Year is going to make mistakes. I thought he got a bad rap. And I listen to a lot of sports talk, obviously, in Northeast Ohio, all over the country, ESPN, CBS Sports, Mad Dog, you name it, I listen to it. And they were all on Stefanski, like they couldn't believe he lasted that long because they didn't know what was going on. Sometimes you don't notice the burning embers in the bottom of the house, okay? And I thought he was dealt a bad hand. I think he's going to do very well with the Atlanta Falcons. The Browns, I love the team. I love the players. I will always be a fan of the team. The team of, what are they dressed now? 53, I think. 6 or 7 on a practice squad. So let's just say 60. I love the 60. Okay, I love the orange and brown. I love the elf. I love the old Browns helmet. I'm not a fan of the organization. I'm not a fan of management. And you can have it both ways. And that's where I'm at. And until there are changes, I'm afraid we're going to be dealing with what we have dealt with since 1999. Now, we've had flashes. We had a nice quick run with Baker. We've had, obviously, the great glory days with Bernie. We had a couple of nice, heart-palpitating years with Brian Stipe and the Cardiac Kids. But we haven't had anything really since. A couple of playoff berths, nothing much to write home about. And you see how excited we all get. You see how excited we get in Canton, how excited they get up in Cleveland. I don't think there's a bigger backer group of any other NFL team in the country or the world than the Cleveland Browns. You go to a Cleveland Browns bar anywhere in the world, packed, can't wait, passionate, signs, woof, woof, bark, all of it, they can't wait. Most passionate. And somehow they keep getting disappointed every single year. But you know what? They keep coming back. Now, that could be questioned. It's like, wait, you really think this is going to be the year? 4-0 in the preseason, here we go. It's just kind of who we are. It's our DNA. I don't know if we're ever going to get where we want to go. Ownership is not going to fire themselves. So if anybody knows some multi-billionaires, get those into the NFL office, maybe they can make something happen. In the meantime, we got to go get a coach. It certainly looks like Jim Schwartz, as of right now, 12:20 p.m., I think that's who they're going to hire, but I'm not certain. Mike McDaniel has been the rumored front runner. Vegas odds had him at like almost even money to get the job. Mike McDaniel coached with the Browns a little while ago. I don't know if Mike McDaniel is Northeast Ohio, AFC Central, that was a long time ago. AFC North football. I don't know if that's him. He's a brilliant offensive mind. His press conferences are worth the price of admission if you had to pay. He's really different. He's very funny. He knows his football. He's a little bizarre. He's a little out there. But the guy's got a good football brain on him. So I would say he would have a shot. I think Jim Schwartz has a shot. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with used to be the head football coach of the Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores. That's the guy that I want. But as I've said on my radio show the last several weeks, the Browns are not going to hire anybody that is going to stand up to them. Jimmy and Dee, God bless them, and Andrew Berry are not going to hire somebody that's not going to go along with them. Brian Flores is an alpha dog. He will come in there, he will turn tables over, he will get in your face, he will grab you by the mask in the right way, and he'll get you to play. And he'll have a game plan. He's a great defensive mind. I know he would hire somebody very sharp on the offensive side. Like, look, if I could have my dream right now, I would take Brian Flores would be my head coach. I would go get Mike McDaniel to be my offensive coordinator, and I would beg and plead Jim Schwartz to please stick around and be my defensive coordinator. I think it's a heck of a staff. It's not going to happen. Haslam's are not going to hire somebody that is going to stand up to them. They want somebody who they can control, and I'm afraid that that's probably what we're going to get. I don't know when they're going to officially name a coach. Usually it happens a couple of days after the Super Bowl is over. unless you're the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones and you want the attention, you tell everybody what's going to happen 10 minutes before kickoff of the Super Bowl, okay? But I think the Browns will probably sit back in the weeds here a little bit, they'll probably do a couple more interviews, and then I think they're going to have their coach. But I could be wrong, been wrong a lot before, but I think around a day or two after the Super Bowl, we will have our new head coach. Just throw names out. Who would some of you like to see as the head coach of the Browns right now? Anybody that I mentioned? Anybody new? Anybody I didn't? John Gruden? Yeah. Clint Kubiak would be a good choice. Anybody else? Get Vrabel back. Yeah, I'm with you. So we'll see how it happens. Cavaliers, a lot of Cavs fans here I know. Going to play Oklahoma City today at 2:30, and that should be a fun ball game. Cavs look like they're starting to turn the corner here a little bit. I've said that before this year, 4 or 5 times, and they'll take a couple steps back. And the other night, I mean, they went to Philly twice. You know how hard it is to win a game on the road once? You got to go back to the same city in less than 48 hours, and they beat them again. They're starting to play well. And then Darius Garland gets hurt again. So he's going to be out for a little while. They're going to relook at things here in about 10 days. I think we know that's going to be about a month, right? Usually that's how that works out. But the Cavs are playing good ball. I think they got the coach with the perfect temperament. There's been a lot of stuff swirling around the last month. Hey, what's going on with this team? What's the matter? You're not hungry. You're not tough. You're not fighting. Coach, are you worried? And Coach would come up to the podium and kind of laissez-faire. It's only January, all right? And pretty soon it's going to be February, but it's only going to be February. You don't want to start cooking till about the middle of March. And I think by then this team is going to be good shape. They're fun to watch. I like the way Kenny Atkinson's coaches. We are so lucky to have Donovan Mitchell, a guy that wants to be in Cleveland, who literally loves Cleveland, plays his butt off every night. And I think that this team has a chance, as I sit here today, to go to the NBA Finals. I truly believe that they do. Now, they're probably not going to get a 1, 2, or a 3 seed. They're probably going to have to fight their way through. And remember, if you get a 4 seed, if you win that, guess who you play next? The number 1. So it's not going to be easy. I think they can get there. I really believe they can get there. Staying with the basketball theme, some of you may be aware, some of you may not be. I know we got a lot of Mount Union folks in the crowd. Their basketball team now is 16-0. They have not lost a game. They are number 4 in the country. And they are beating some people, and they are beating some people that are really good, not only in the OAC, but they bumped up their non-conference schedule a little bit this year, which was good. I've been looking at all the numbers and all the decimal points that people much smarter than me come up with these graphs, and they tell you, okay, strength of schedule, this is where this team is, this is where they're projected to be in the tournament. Mount Union, everything I've looked at as far as Division III, DataCast, websites, all this stuff, they are in the top 5 with everything. If you haven't got a chance to go over to Mount, they play at the Mac Center, right on campus, right off Clark Avenue. It is electric when that place is full. They are, Mike Feuline is former Jackson head coach, won a state championship with the Polar Bears, took Mount Union to the NCAA Division III Final Four a couple of years ago in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And if it wasn't for a shaky call at the end, Purple Raiders probably would have had a national championship that year. They went all the way. Last second shot beat them. Ball went through the net. Time expired. That was it. But if you get a chance to go watch them play, they are phenomenal. And there's a lot of local kids. Elijah Farrington from Massillon is on that team. Cam Weekly from Jackson is on that team. They have a young man from St. Vincent St. Mary, Kevin Hamilton, who went to Youngstown State, and he transferred in this past year. Phenomenal. I don't want to make Kevin mad. He's probably not 5'6". He is dynamite. He's the toughest guy on the floor. Caleb Warren. 7.5, maybe 6'8". He blocks about 5 or 6 shots a game. Doesn't even break a sweat. And his offensive game is really, really coming along. So the Raiders are 16-0. They will play this Wednesday at Heidelberg. They're on the road at Ohio Northern Saturday. And then 1 week from this Wednesday, they'll finally be back home in Mount Union So if you get a chance, come on over and see the Purple Raiders play. They are fun, they're exciting, and as I think the Cavaliers could probably get to the NBA Finals, I'm thinking Mount Union, just a little bit of luck, I think they can get back to the Final Four, which is in Indianapolis this year. So it's a little closer for everybody if you want to take the trip out. I know I'm getting way ahead here, but I think they're that good. I really think they're that good. The high school basketball scene this year, some pretty good teams. Kent McKinley, probably the most talented team in the county. But right now, Massillon, in my opinion, in my partner Lee Foster's opinion, probably the best team in Stark County right now. I think it goes Massillon, McKinley, North Canton, Jackson, probably there's your top four. Northwest is a pretty good team. Louisville's, besides losing 80% of their scoring from last year, and a new head coach is playing some pretty good ball as well. And with the playoffs the way they are now with 7 divisions, again, not out of the question, McKinley could make a long run in Division I. I think Massillon and Hoover can make long runs in Division II, and I think the Alliance Aviators can make a long run in Division III. J.R. Jackson, probably the best player in Stark County, plays for Alliance. He was the Stark County football most valuable player. He'll probably get it in basketball. He's dynamite. Again, not a really big kid, but he's tough. He can score, he can slash, he can pass. He's got what it takes to play. And he's a really, really talented player. And we got some great coaches in this area too. And I've been lucky enough this past year when I took the job over at WD Canada Alliance, which it's under the same umbrella as Q92. So we're all in the same building. So I'm doing my talk show Monday through Friday, 3 until 6. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, because of where I'm at logistically, I can't get out of the station at 6:30 and get to a gym anywhere for a 6:45 tip. It's not going to happen. So this past football season, I started to do my entire show from the press box to the football stadium. So I'd get to the school at about 2. I would set up, I would go on the air at 3, do the show till 6, we take a little half-hour break, and come back on with the pregame. So that's what we're doing for basketball this year. I'll go to the school about 2 o'clock, I'll set up, and I'll start my show at 3. We're all ready at the gym, we're all ready set up, we're ready to go. So that's been a big help, and I want to thank all the ADs and coaches for allowing me to come to school a little bit early and probably get in the way of everybody in the gym and set stuff up for a show and the game and everything, but it's worked out really well. So tomorrow night we're gonna do Massillon, Youngstown, Ursuline. If the game isn't called off, I know a lot of schools are probably gonna be off tomorrow because of the cold weather, and we'll see how that goes. We're gonna have McKinley Glen Oak, a rematch Friday night over at Glen Oak, and again, you catch these games on Q92, that's 92.5 FM, and for all my tech-savvy friends out there, we're all over social media. Any outlet you can think of, we're there. You can listen to the game. The McKinley-Glen Oak game, this will be a rematch of what happened at the Fieldhouse about 5 or 6 weeks ago. I don't know if any of you were there. Some of you probably were. You probably listened to the game. Almost at the end of the third quarter, Glen Oak was leading McKinley by 28 points. McKinley comes back, says it's overtime, and McKinley wins. And I had never seen anything like it. And you know how the Fieldhouse is just a magical place to watch basketball. And I don't know if we may have had 2,000 people there that night, I think. It was phenomenal. The place was literally shaking. This is for a regular season game in December. And it was, I'd never seen anybody blow a 28-point lead. Not in high school. And it usually just doesn't happen. And McKinley came all the way back, and a young man by the name of Davey Thompson, one of the little point guards, off guards, had a couple of huge threes down the stretch and got the game to overtime, and was back and forth, and McKinley ended up winning. Now, mind you, Glen Oak came into that game, they hadn't won a game. I think they were like 0-4, 0-5. And I said, you know what? I like this team. I like what Rick's doing with this team. Do they have any wins yet? No, I think they started 0-6. And we ended up doing their game against, partner, who was it? Glen Oak, their first win. Was it Lake? Yeah, Lake. And that was their first win. They won by like 17, 18 points. I said, I think this team, and they've won like 3 or 4 in a row since. So they started off 0-7. Now they've reeled off, 3 or 4 wins, and they're starting to get it together a little bit. And I can only think of a year ago, the Perry Panthers last year started off didn't have a good year, way under 500. I think they started like 2-7, 2-8. Circle all the way back, and guess who's the date playing in the state championship game in Division II? Perry. So it's never too late. It's never too late to be great. And I think we're going to have a fun run for the playoffs this year. I think we've got legit chances for some state champions this year, Division I, II, and III. And would love again to have the opportunity to go down to Dayton and bring you some basketball and maybe bring home a little hardware, just like the Louisville Leopards did a year ago. How are we on time? Good? Good? Okay. Let's see here. What did I write down next? National championship game tonight. Show of hands. Who's going to be tuned in tonight? Miami and Indiana. Oh, yeah. We're all going to be watching. Show of hands. Who's pulling for the Hurricanes tonight? 3. All right. I'm going to bet the other side. I'm going to fade you. All right. I like Indiana tonight, too. I think this is a game you just don't overthink it. They're the best team in college football. Kurt Signetti, I'm not going to say he's a miracle worker, but this guy comes from James Madison. He brings 12 or 13 kids with him. Boom, they're going to the national championship. In 2 years, they're going to the title, and I think they'll win it tonight. I know the game's in Miami. I know it's at Hard Rock Stadium. It's their home field, for crying out loud. And, last I checked, ticket sales, Indiana, way more ticket sales. There's going to be more Indiana people there than Miami. Trust me. There's going to be a lot of red down there in Coral Gables tonight. In 2 years at a school, here's what the great story is. Did anybody ever pay any attention to Indiana football before Kurt Signetti got there? No. I mean, a little bit with the old ball coach, Lee Corso. It is phenomenal. They were like the doormat of the Big Ten for everybody. Every weekend, Michigan 65, Indiana 7, Ohio State 70, Indiana 3. And Kurt Signetti comes in here and just lights Bloomington on fire. You can't get a ticket to that place. You can't. I think they've run out of room for people to donate. Mark Cuban just wrote like a $50 million check to him a couple of weeks ago. First time he's ever donated back to his school, by the way. They're winning. I want to be a part of it. Let's go. So they've got all kinds of money now. They have, transformed their facilities. And if you go back and look at some old photos, just Google Indiana Bloomington Stadium. As little as 4 or 5 years ago, 15, 17,000 people at a game. Now you can't get in. And all of a sudden now they're not talking about Indiana basketball anymore. They're talking about football. And Kurt Signetti, I think he's in his early 60s. He may be 60. He said the other day, he says, NFL's not for me. I want to be in college. I think he might stick around at least there for a while. And who knows how many national championships that they might be a part of. And if there was any doubters, all you had to do was turn on the Rose Bowl, where they just took Alabama and took them out behind the shed and just whipped them. I said, I believed before, but now I'm in. This is a great team. I think it'll be a fun game tonight, but I think Indiana will win it and might win it by a little bit more than the experts think. We'll see. Baseball, pitchers and catchers, 41 days they report to spring training in Arizona and Florida. I don't know if you saw a couple of days ago, a young man by the name of Kyle Tucker, a free agent, signed by the LA Dodgers for 4 years, $240 million. $60 million a year. And no surprise he went to LA. Phillies re-signed a guy by the name of JT Realmuto, 3 years, $45 million. Bo Bichette, the son of Dante Bichette, who played many years in Major League Baseball, he signed a 4 or 5 year deal with the Mets for $200-some million. And the crazy thing is, after this coming baseball season, 99.9% there's going to be a lockout. And we're not going to have baseball. Because until they implement a salary cap, which I know is the driving force behind what the owners want, if you're a player, you're going to say no, because look at the money that's being thrown around to these free agents now, and the average salaries in Major League Baseball. There's no way in the world that anybody on that side of the table will say, yeah, let's have a salary cap. Let's cap the money that we can all make next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And it's a shame, because how many of you watched this past World Series? Toronto Blue Jays and the LA Dodgers. Anybody watch the World Series? Wasn't it a fantastic World Series? I thought it was great. It's kind of pulling for Toronto a little bit. Mark Shapiro, a lot of past Guardians were on that team, coaches too. Great series, 7 games. I still can't believe I stayed up. I think it was game 3 or 4 that went till like 4 o'clock in the morning. I said I got 6 hours invested. I'm not going away now. And I stayed up. And of course, the Dodgers won the game that night. But I think baseball during the World Series was really strong. I thought the sport of baseball was kind of making a little comeback. The ratings are good. The attendance has been up in the stadiums. And now we could have another fantastic year. And then when the World Series is over, that's it. That's it. And I have a bad feeling that it's going to last a long time, because they're going to be at the table and it's going to be a stalemate. Somebody's going to have to blink first. And I don't know who that somebody's going to be. But I don't want baseball to be taken away from us, because, first of all, it's a great sport. I'm not so sure that it's America's pastime. No, I will say this. Baseball is America's pastime. I think football is probably America's passion right now, if that makes sense. But I love baseball. I grew up watching baseball, playing baseball, following baseball, and I don't want to see it just be taken away from us. And there's a very good chance that could happen. Ohio State Buckeyes this past year, just a couple of minutes. I thought that they just ran into a buzzsaw with Miami. I still think Ryan Day is a hell of a coach. Are they going to miss Hartline as their coordinator and recruiting guy? Absolutely. But they'll be okay. It's Ohio State. They reload. They'll be back. They'll be ready to go. But one more quick note. I meant to mention this during when I was telling you about Mount Union with their 16-0 start. I got a feeling we got to have at least 1 or 2 graduates of Miami of Ohio in here. Maybe 1, maybe not. They're 19-0. They haven't lost a game yet in Division I. I think they're one of 3 teams left in NCAA Division I that are undefeated. They're 19-0. And I believe they're coming to Kent this Tuesday or Wednesday. Kent's like 13-4, 14-3. That could be a great game. Akron, Kent, Miami, probably the top 3 in the Mid-American Conference this year. Buffalo's pretty good too, but keep your eye on the Redhawks. They're once you get 19-0, 20-0 in Division I sports, it kind of becomes a really big story. And because they're from Ohio, just down the road at Oxford, a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours, I think it's a good story to take care of. Once again, thank you so much for having me on today. We'll have a little question and answer. We'll get you back out in the warm sunshine. Yes, sir.
Bill,
Hey.
any comment about Matt Campbell and Penn State?
Matt Campbell going to Penn State could not be a better fit for either. Could not be a better fit for either. Matt Campbell has paid his dues. He is a god in Ames, Iowa, still today. And I don't know if you saw that press conference and some of the comments and the emotional, that was tough. He didn't really want to go. They didn't want him to leave, but everybody understood at the end of the day, it was probably time for Matt to go. And when Matt Campbell says, I'm going to sign on the dotted line for 5 years, you're going to get him for 5. If he signs for 17 years, you're going to get him for 17. He's not leaving. He's not going to pull a Lane Kiffin. He's going to be there. It's the perfect State College, Ames, Iowa, not that crazy different. Really isn't. And I think Penn State's going to be fantastic. And I wish Matt nothing but the best. And that's a great hire. Super home run hire. Way in the, I forgot they got a microphone out there. 2 microphones out there.
Question about the baseball.
Yep.
If the players are locked out, does that include the minor leaguers? Or is it just the guys that are under contract? Will we be seeing minor leaguers playing in the big league ballparks?
Ooh, that's a great question. I don't think so. You will, like, the minor league teams will play. Remember years and years ago when they had the strikes and the lockouts, when Donald Fear was running the Players Association, and I think we went months where you would turn the TV on and you'd be watching AAA baseball on ESPN. There was minor league because there was no major league games, so they were playing. I don't think you'll see, like replacement play like you did in the NFL back in '82 when you had the strike. But it'll be something to keep an eye on for sure, definitely.
Louisville and Canton South are looking for football coaches yet. Any ideas on where they might go?
Well, Louisville kind of snuck up on them. Chris Kappas, who had kind of turned that program around the only 2 years he was there, he is now the new defensive coordinator at Mount Union. So Louisville's kind of, they didn't see that coming. And you're probably gonna have to get somebody off the staff internally, maybe for a year. I mean, we're almost in February, and it may seem like, hey, you got plenty of time, but not really, because when there's other openings as well, it kind of closes the window a little bit. I would, I know a couple of guys that they have talked to. I don't want to put that information out there. That'd be kind of break the breach a little bit, but they kind of were throwing a little bit of loop there. Somebody local probably will. I don't think you're going to bring somebody in from outside. But again, I mean, it's almost February. They're going to have to find somebody. Canton South, I understand, is they're on their second round of interviews this week, and it's down to 4. I think that's going to come down to the wire too, because you have to figure: are they going to have a teaching position for them? Will there be an administrative position? Plus, you're going to be coaching, other stipends that you can get. Maybe how many years you've had in the school system already as a coach or teacher. You're trying to build that up towards your pension, your retirement, what have you. I would say Canton South is probably a lot closer to hiring their coach than Louisville. I would say look for that first. And Sandy Valley, I know, also is looking for a head coach. So we got 3 schools that are looking. I would think in order of hire, I think South will be first, Sandy Valley, and then Louisville.
Yes. After what happened to the Guardians this year, do you think there's going to be some laws or something done about prop betting?
Yeah, that's common. And I don't know if it's going to be with a certain sports book, if it will be like a FanDuel, a DraftKings, a Bet365. You're going to have to make some changes with that. I was in a conversation the other night at the North Canton Eagles doing the Baseball Hall of Fame inductions. And I said, we're sitting there just watching these games, and you're caught up in the heat of the battle, whether it's a regular season game, a playoff game. Maybe you're sitting there with some buddies, you're by yourself, maybe you got your family, maybe you're at a sports bar, maybe you're at home. And what are we doing? We're just baseball is a real casual sport, right? We have conversations, hey, let me buy you a beer with everybody. How about that? Oh, 3-2 count, okay. So we're sitting there watching the game. You're not thinking, oh my gosh, that ball was so far outside. Somebody must have hit $60,000 on that. We're just, even me that's been known to dabble in that stuff a little bit over my years. You just don't think that. You don't think that Emmanuel Clase throwing the ball 40 feet outside the other batter's box was a big deal. Like, oh, Emmanuel, my God, get some control. We didn't know. We didn't know that Luis Ortiz was literally purposely throwing a ball the first time he would come in out of the bullpen on purpose. But we're sitting there watching the game, you wouldn't think that. What are we doing? We're screaming, throw a strike, get it down the plate. Guy's 30, 40 feet away. Ball goes back to the pitcher, rubs up the ball, gets the sign, throws the next pitch. We didn't know. We didn't think anything about it. Just imagine how long this has been going on. And not just with Cleveland. Think about major leagues. Think about college. College basketball, big story with point shaving and point fixing, right? 27, almost 30 teams have been implicated in a big point shaving scam. One of the schools is called Abilene Christian. Are you kidding me? What? We're point shaving for Abilene Christian. Okay, so just, look, that's just on the press, that's going on. We probably watched games over the weekend. NFL, college basketball, NBA. I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying something. 3, 4, 5 years down the road, there's gonna be a big story. Hey, remember that game, so-and-so? Remember that guy threw that interception? Remember that Josh Allen kind of just laid the ball on the ground? Was that really a fumble or did he? We don't know. But as far as the props to the sports betting, they got to get a handle on it or it's going to get really ugly really fast for everybody. The bettors, the sports books, the players, the sports, the integrity. That's the whole thing. It's the integrity. If we don't believe what we're watching is real, we're probably not going to watch anymore, right?
Any thoughts on NIL in Ohio high school sports?
NIL in high school sports, probably not a good idea. Ohio's the 46th state in America to adopt the NIL that it's okay. I'm sure there's been deals signed already. I mean, there's over 850 schools in Ohio, divisions 1 through 7. I'm sure somebody somewhere has a deal. And it's legal, so I guess good for them. But I guess college, I'm kind of okay with it because of all the money that is being brought in to the NCAA. It's not like that in high school. It really isn't. And you may get, last I saw, there were 4 deals in the entire state of Ohio. Now, this was a couple of weeks ago. This was a story that ran down in the Columbus Dispatch. 4 players that were known had NIL deals in the entire state of Ohio. So what is that, 0.000.0%? So I don't think it's gonna get crazy, but this is 2026. You know, we're all back here meeting again in 2030, 2035. Could be a whole lot different. Could be a whole lot different. Got time for one more before we wrap her up. I think we got one right in the middle. Yep.
What, don't you think, Sam, that some of these coaches are just meant to be specialty coaches, like Josh McDaniels, for example? I mean, he's a great offensive coordinator. Schwartz is a great defensive coordinator.
Yes.
And you just surround him with a head coach that can do something else, right?
100% agree. Josh McDaniels, great coordinator, probably should just be a coordinator to the best of his ability forever and ever and be number 1 at it. Jim Schwartz, probably just a really good defensive coordinator. Remember, he was the head coach of the Detroit Lions. Didn't do so well. Now, they didn't have the talent they have now, but Jim Schwartz, if you just put him in a room and have him dissect defense and coordinate defense and schemes, he's one of the best in the NFL. Mike McDaniel for the Dolphins, who got fired. Probably he's a great offensive coordinator. Is he be a great coach, a great head coach? I don't know. And I hate to get up here or on the radio and say, hey, stay in your lane. I know you got to scratch that itch, but don't do it because I said so. You're a coordinator. You should always be a coordinator. You can't limit somebody's dreams. If they want to go do something, they can go do it and then maybe find out. But we got some great head coaches that will always be great head coaches. We have some great coordinators that should probably remain coordinators and ride that all the way. That's just my thought. Thank you so much for coming out today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.